There once was a scientist who, by studying the nature of the universe, realized that he could create a portal to the future. But he needed some administrators to help him open the portal. And he soon learned that if the administrators did a good job, that the portal would open up to basically a utopia in which everybody was rich, prosperous, and free. But if the administrators did a poor job, then the portal would open up to a hellish place in which everybody's lives were controlled by a digital dictator. Everybody's movements were monitored, and people basically lived like cattle. This portal is being opened right now by digital currencies. Digital currencies are the future of money. Digital currencies allow us to buy things at our computers or at our cell phones, day or night. We can trade with people all over the world instantly. And we can do so without worrying about paying tariffs and taxes, worrying about red tape and bureaucracy, without bank fees, and with privacy. But there are some problems. It is possible for us to have something that I call blockchain socialism. Blockchain socialism is when a government, maybe your government, creates a national currency, and they give you an account on the public ledger. And they're able to know how much money you have because of this account. And they're able to see who you buy from and who you sell with. And they're even able to create algorithms that will take money from you and give it to other people. Just like all forms of socialism, which change the way that people have money and use money, it also changes behavior of humanity and changes it for the worst so that everybody becomes poorer. However, there is another possibility, and that is the possibility of perfect money. And in a perfect money system, nobody even knows that you have money. You have 100% privacy. You can buy and sell things without any kind of friction. The perfect money would be money that you cannot lose. It would be money that cannot be stolen. It would be money that would, over time, go up in value, in which nobody could hack, no governments could hack, no banks could hack, and take advantage of people. The theory of perfect money is a new idea, and it's not out of the branch of economics, it's out of the branch of computer science and information systems. See, it turns out that economists really don't know that much about money. It turns out that monetary systems are in fact information systems, and that money plays the role of data. And we, with our brains, we process this data, and it affects our behavior. And in fact, the entire civilization, our entire human civilization, is organized because of money. And without money, our civilization would collapse. We can take a look at how you behave today. I assume that when you woke up this morning, you wanted to eat. Well, how do you eat? You've got to have some money. How are you going to get some money? Well, you could rob a bank, I guess, but that's not going to work for most of us. So we've got to go work. Well, there's a lot of different jobs that you can do, isn't there? How do you know which is the best job? Well, it's the job that pays the most. That would give you a hint. We can tell that maybe working as a street cleaner might not be the best job for us today, especially if we're educated. Maybe we should be a lawyer or a doctor and make much more money. And so money allows us to organize ourselves efficiently and productively. It also helps us to economize. When you go to the store and you want to buy some kind of eggs, well, there's lots of different brands to choose from, and if you look at the eggs, they all look pretty much the same. I think pretty much exactly the same. So how do you know which eggs to buy? Well, if you've got one that's cheaper than the other, that shows you that manufacturer, that firm, is in fact more efficient. And with all of us going to the stores and making decisions based on prices, we're able to create an economy in which the most efficient survive, and the least efficient, well, they've got to figure out some other place that they can fill, some other role that they can add value to. So monetary systems are absolutely critical to our civilization. And there are three major components to any information system, and this applies right to money. The first one is confidentiality. The second one is availability. And the third one is integrity. So these are the three properties of an information system that are essential. And we can actually take these rules, actually come from computer science and computer information system, and we can take those rules and we can just apply them right to monetary systems. The biggest problem that we've had in digital currency is physical integrity. And so there's something called the physical integrity problem of digital money. And to talk about this problem, I can tell you about one of the first digital currencies that we created in California. It was called e-gold. The reason why they call it e-gold is because everybody took their gold and they put it in a vault. And they issued digital certificates against this gold. And they were doing billions of dollars worth of transactions. It really worked very well. But then a thief came in, kicked down the door, and stole the vault, and destroyed the entire system. That thief was the state of California. And what it showed is that this currency, e-gold, did not have physical integrity. It could be attacked by the government. The first digital currency to solve the physical integrity problem was in fact Bitcoin. Bitcoin created a data structure called blockchain. Blockchain allowed that currency to have what's called data supremacy, meaning that governments could not shut it down. It meant that hackers could not hack into it. You didn't have to worry about somebody coming and turning off the servers. You didn't have to worry about somebody just copying and pasting and creating a bunch of new money. So the blockchain was a big development that showed us that it's possible to solve the physical integrity problem. But like first movers, it shows the concepts possible, but it's not the most optimum system. And so another system that we have had that has data supremacy is called the DNS system, the domain name service. The domain name service is a database that we use thousands of times every day, and billions of people use it every day. And it allows us to take the domain name, like www.google.com, and exchange it into an IP address. And that's a very simple thing, and billions of people do it. It's a globally scalable system in which can handle the entire world's traffic. Hackers would love to take it down because if they took it down, they would be able to take down the entire internet. Or they would love to control it because if they could control it, they could control where you go. You might want to go to www.amazon.com, and you might end up at some other person's website that's trying to sell something. The Chinese government would love to control the DNS because they could be able to censor what people are able to go to, which websites people are able to go to. But in fact, since 1985, since the system was created, the DNS system was created, it has never gone down. So the DNS system has data supremacy. We have created a third data structure, and it's called the RAIDA. The RAIDA is the redundant array of independent detection agents, and it is a way of telling or authenticating anything. It is not based on the blockchain, it's based on the DNS. So it's an evolution of the DNS system, but it too has data supremacy, which means that if a government decided to bring it down, they could not. If hackers decided to bring it down, they could not. And because it's cloud-based, the first currency that we've created based on this technology we call CloudCoin. Because of the way that this technology works, it gives us a totally different feel of currency. It allows us to have something called discrete digital currencies. And in fact, CloudCoin is the world's first discrete digital currency. And to understand what a discrete digital currency is, it's good to understand what a discrete digital currency isn't. And so I'll tell you about the island of Yap. So the island of Yap was one of the last islands in the Pacific Ocean to be discovered by Europeans. And when they arrived there, they were amazed at the monetary system that the Japanese had created. They had a village square, and every family had a raised platform. And they had these giant stones. And these giant stones were placed on the platforms, and every time they would do a transaction, like one family would buy a goat from another family, they would then move these stones from one platform to the other platform. And this created a public ledger system. And so they basically created a table or a database, not made out of zeros and ones on a computer, but made out of stones. So every one of these raised platforms was like a row at a table, and all of the stones were like data in those cells. And this system created a system in which it had integrity, because if you wanted to steal some money from somebody, you'd have to maybe sneak out in the middle of the night and take a stone and roll it over from their platform to yours. And that's going to be pretty obvious, and nobody's going to be able to get away with that. So you've got this public system in which everybody can see who's rich, who's poor, because you can actually literally see how many stones everybody has. And this is the same technology that the blockchain uses, and it is not a discrete digital currency because everything is located in a central location, and everybody knows what's happening. You might be able to hide the people behind the user account numbers, but if you ever link the person to the user account, you can see exactly what they've been doing. In fact, you can see all the purchases that have been made in the history with the blockchain. With CloudCoin, the CloudCoins themselves have the data, and they're in your cell phones, your pockets, your USB drives, your computers, and it's totally decentralized, just like dollar bills or coin. What this means is that it gives us confidentiality, 100% confidentiality. If you want to use, say, dollar bills, you don't have to sign up for anything. You don't have to log in. You don't have to have an account. Anybody can use dollar bills, even kids. Well, with CloudCoin, it's the same thing. You do not have to have an account on a public ledger. So with Bitcoin, it's not anonymous. It's called pseudo-anonymous. And that means that we have to have an account on the public ledger. We've got to have a private key and a public key. The private key is like the golden egg. We've got to guard it. If we lose it, we lose all our money. If somebody takes that key, then we have all of our money stolen. But with cloud coins, they themselves have their own authenticity information. And I can give them from one person to another, and nobody knows. There's no record of any transactions. And so it's just like cash. And so we now have the ability to have 100% confidentiality, real privacy with digital currencies. So this is a big thing that's going to affect the future. So I've talked about some new terms here. One is the blockchain socialism. This is the possibility for governments to use digital currencies to control and monitor what we do. We've already seen that the first national digital currency has come out of Venezuela, a socialist country, and they are using it to be able to track what people are doing, but also to be able to control and hack value from people, and this can get much worse. We've also talked about a concept of the theory of perfect money, which if you want to know what good money is and bad money is, you have to start with a model. And this is the first model in human history about how money should be. I'm actually writing a book on this that goes into great detail. We've also talked about the idea of a super base and data supremacy. These are databases that are not owned by anybody, like the blockchain or the DNS or the RAIDA, and they cannot be shut down by governments or hackers or anybody else. And so they are now a permanent part of not just, it's kind of like the village square in which no individual could take down. It's part of a greater thing. We talked about physical integrity. It's very important in any kind of monetary system that money does not appear or disappear. Well, I think that pretty much wraps it up. But I would like to end by giving you a quote from Ayn Rand, who's a famous philosopher and writer. She said that civilization is the progress towards a society of privacy. And that basically means that the more private we are, the more civilized we will become. And of course, the reverse would be true as well. And I believe that 100%, and I believe that digital currencies, such as Cloudcoin, in the future, will make any society that adopts them much more prosperous, much more civilized. Thank you very much.